Hello, and welcome back to Daily English Talk. I'm Ayla.
And I'm Jack. It's great to be here with you all.
Jack, it's a new year, and you know what that means. Everyone is thinking about their goals.
Exactly. And for our listeners, that means thinking about their English goals. We know many of you are making a plan for 2026.
That's right. And today we want to talk about how to make an English learning plan that you can actually stick to. It's not about big, difficult changes. It's about daily habits and a little bit of discipline.
We're going to break down the simple steps you can take every single day to make real progress. We'll talk about how to find time, what to study, and how to keep yourself motivated.
By the end of this episode, you'll have a clear, simple idea of how to build your own successful learning routine. So let's get started.
So, Ayla, I was thinking about my own goals for this year, and I realized something. I always start with a huge goal, like I will read 5 books in English this month.
Oh, I've done that too, Jack. And what happens?
Well, I read maybe 2 pages of the first book, and then I feel tired or busy, and I stop. Then I feel bad about myself.
That is so common. It's a classic mistake. We think we need to do something huge to see results. But for English learning, especially at the A2 level, it's the small, consistent things that matter most.
Consistent. That's a good word. It means doing something regularly, right?
Exactly. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't brush your teeth for 1 hour on Monday and then stop for the rest of the week. You brush for 2 minutes every morning and every night. It's a small, consistent habit.
That makes sense. So if we apply that to English, what's a small, consistent habit we can start with?
Well, the first step in any good plan is finding the time. And I don't mean finding an extra 2 hours. I mean finding 10 minutes.
10 minutes? That sounds very manageable.
It is. We all have 10 minutes. Maybe it's while you're waiting for the bus, or maybe while you're drinking your morning coffee. This small block of time is what we call a micro-study session.
A micro-study session. I like that. It sounds less scary than a study session.
It does, doesn't it? And the key is to be very clear about what you will do in those 10 minutes. Don't just open your phone and scroll. Have a plan.
So, for example, if I have 10 minutes while I'm waiting for the train, what should my plan be?
Great question. Let's imagine this situation. You have 10 minutes. Your goal for this week is to learn new vocabulary related to your job.
Okay.
In those 10 minutes, you could review 5 new words you wrote down yesterday. You read the word, you read the simple definition, and you say the word out loud 3 times. That's it. You are done.
Wow, that's very focused. And I feel like I could do that every day.
You absolutely can. And that is the secret to discipline. Discipline isn't about being a superhero. It's about making the small choice every day to do the thing you planned to do.
So the first step is to find 3 or 4 small, specific 10-minute slots in my day.
Perfect. And write them down. For example, 7:15 a.m. during coffee, 10 minutes of vocabulary review. 1 p.m. during lunch break, 10 minutes of listening to a short English podcast.
I see. It's about scheduling it, not just hoping I'll find the time.
Exactly. Now, let's move on to the next big part of the plan, what to actually study. So, Jack, we've found our 10-minute slots. Now we need to talk about what to put in them. Many learners feel overwhelmed because they try to study everything at once: grammar, speaking, reading, writing, and listening.
That's how I feel. It's too much.
It is, so we need to focus on one thing at a time. We call this focused practice.
Focused practice. What does that look like?
It means you choose one skill to be your main focus for a week or 2. Let's say this week, your focus is listening comprehension.
Okay, listening.
Your goal for the week is to listen to 3 short English videos or podcasts. You don't need to understand every single word. Your goal is to understand the main idea.
That takes the pressure off. If I don't understand a word, I shouldn't stop and look it up.
Not during the first listen. That's a great point. If you stop, you break your focus. The first time you listen, just listen for the gist.
The gist. That means the general meaning, right?
That's right, the main point. Let's imagine this situation. You are listening to a short dialogue about two friends planning a weekend trip.
Okay.
You hear words like beach, train, weather, and tomorrow. You don't understand the verb they use, but you understand the gist. They are planning a trip to the beach soon. That is a success.
That's a much better way to think about it. So, how do I use my 10-minute micro-study session for listening comprehension?
Here's how this usually sounds in real life. Let's say you have a 10-minute commute.
Yes.
You put on your headphones, you listen to the first 5 minutes of an English podcast. That's your first micro-study session. You don't look at the transcript, you just listen.
And then the next day?
The next day, you listen to the same 5 minutes again. This time, you might understand a few more words. You are training your ear. This is the discipline part. Repetition is key.
Repetition. I've heard that before. It helps the brain remember.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about the other skills. What if your focus is speaking?
Speaking is the hardest for me. I feel nervous.
That's completely normal. Don't worry if this feels new or difficult. Everyone feels nervous when they start speaking a new language, but we have a simple habit for this too. We call it shadowing.
Shadowing, like a shadow.
Yes, you listen to a short sentence from a native speaker, and then you immediately try to copy it. You copy the sound, the rhythm, and the speed. You are their shadow.
So I listen to a sentence and then I say it right after.
Yes. Let's listen to how this sounds. I'll say a short, simple sentence, and you try to shadow me.
Okay, I'm ready.
I need to buy some groceries after work.
I need to buy some groceries after work.
Very good. You copied the rhythm perfectly. Let's try another one.
Okay.
What time does the meeting start tomorrow?
What time does the meeting start tomorrow?
Excellent. You see, you don't need a conversation partner for this. You can do this alone for 10 minutes a day. You can use a short clip from a movie or a YouTube video.
That's a great practical example. It helps me practice speaking without the pressure of a real conversation.
Precisely. The main idea here is to break down the big goal, I want to speak English fluently, into small, daily, manageable actions. Before we move on, let me ask you, Jack, what is one thing that stops people from keeping their plan?
I think it's when they miss a day. They feel like they failed and then they stop completely.
That is a huge point. It's called the all or nothing mindset. If I can't do my full 30-minute study session, I do nothing.
Yes, I've been there.
We need to build in a safety net. We need a minimum viable action.
A minimum viable action. What does that mean?
It means the smallest possible thing you can do that still counts as a win. If your plan is to study for 30 minutes, your minimum viable action might be 2 minutes.
2 minutes?
Yes. Let's imagine you had a terrible day. You're exhausted. You don't have the energy for your full study session. You tell yourself, I will just review one flashcard.
Just one.
Just one. You open your flashcard app, you look at one word, you say it out loud, and you close the app. You have kept your streak. You have maintained your discipline. You have won the day.
That's brilliant. It keeps the habit alive.
Exactly. The goal is not to learn a lot on that bad day. The goal is not to break the chain. Consistency is more important than intensity.
Consistency is more important than intensity. I like that phrase. I should write that down.
You should. Now let's talk about how to make your learning relevant to your life. Because if it's not relevant, it's hard to stay motivated.
That's true. I want to learn English that I can actually use.
Of course. So your learning plan should be built around your real life. Let's look at some situations learners commonly experience.
Like what?
Let's imagine you're at the supermarket. You need to ask where the milk is.
Okay.
You could practice a short, realistic dialogue like this. Excuse me, where can I find the milk?
It's in the dairy section on the far wall.
Thank you. Is it whole milk or skim milk?
We have both, right next to the yogurt.
Now, that's a simple exchange, but it uses very practical vocabulary. You can practice that dialogue in your head while you are walking to the store.
That's a great idea. It turns a normal activity into a learning opportunity.
It does. Let's try another one. Imagine you are talking to a friend about a movie you watched. You want to express that you really enjoyed it.
How would I say that simply?
You could say, I really liked the movie. The story was great. Or, to sound a little more natural, you could say, I thought the movie was fantastic. I highly recommend it.
I highly recommend it. That's a good phrase to learn.
It is. And the key is to use these phrases immediately. If you learn a new phrase today, try to use it in a simple sentence in your head 5 times before you go to sleep.
So we're moving from passive learning, just listening, to active learning, actually using the language.
Precisely. That active use is what builds confidence, and confidence is the fuel for your discipline. Jack, let's revisit some of the key words and phrases we've used today. This is a great way to make sure they stick in our listeners' minds.
That's a good idea. We talked about consistency. Can you explain that again, but maybe with a different example?
Of course. Consistency is about doing something the same way over and over. Imagine you are learning to play the guitar. You don't practice for 8 hours one day and then stop for a month. You practice for 15 minutes every day. That small, regular effort is consistency. It builds skill slowly but surely.
So for English, consistency means my 10-minute micro-study session every day, even if I'm tired.
Exactly. Now, you mentioned the word discipline. How would you explain that to a friend who is just starting to learn English?
I would say discipline is the power to do what you plan to do even when you don't feel like it. It's not about feeling motivated, it's about doing the work anyway, like getting up early to study even when your bed is very comfortable.
That's a perfect explanation. It's the action, not the feeling. Another phrase we used was micro-study session.
That was my favorite. A micro-study session is a very short, focused period of study, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. It's small enough that you can fit it into your busy day, like while you're waiting in line or on a short break.
Perfect. And we talked about focused practice.
Focused practice is when you choose one skill to work on, like only listening or only speaking, for a short period of time, maybe a week. It stops you from feeling overwhelmed by trying to do everything at once.
That's a very clear way to put it. And when we were talking about listening, we used the word gist.
The gist is the main idea. When you're listening to English, especially for the first time, you don't need to understand every word. You just need to understand the main message. What is the speaker talking about? That's the gist.
Excellent. And finally, we talked about shadowing.
Shadowing is a speaking practice technique. You listen to a native speaker say a sentence and you immediately try to copy their sound, their rhythm, and their speed. It helps you practice speaking without needing a partner.
Fantastic. You've explained all those concepts so clearly, Jack. I think our listeners have a great set of tools now.
Isla, this has been a really helpful conversation about building a solid plan. Before we wrap up, we have our question of the day for our listeners.
Yes, we want to give you something simple to think about and practice today.
So, here's the question. What is one small, specific English habit you'll start this week?
Think about the 10-minute micro-study session we talked about. What will you do in that time? Will you review 5 new words? Will you shadow a short sentence?
Answering this question is a great way to start your discipline. It forces you to make a small, clear commitment, and that commitment is the first step to a successful 2026 learning plan.
For example, you could say, I will listen to a 5-minute English news report while I eat breakfast every morning. That's a great specific habit.
Or you could say, I will write down 3 English words I see on the internet today and look up their simple meaning.
Both of those are excellent answers. They are small, specific, and easy to start today. We encourage you to write your answer down, or even better, say it out loud.
And if you want to share your answer, please leave a comment on our website or wherever you listen to this podcast. We'd love to hear what you're planning.
Well, Jack, that brings us to the end of today's episode. We've covered a lot of ground, from finding 10 minutes in your day to the importance of consistency over intensity.
Remember, your English learning plan for 2026 doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be consistent. Start small. Find your 10 minutes. Choose one focus and don't break the chain.
That's right. Every small step you take today is a step closer to your goal. Be patient with yourself, be kind to yourself, and celebrate the small wins.
We hope this episode has given you the motivation and the practical tools you need to start your journey.
Thank you so much for listening. Keep practicing, keep repeating, and we'll talk to you again next time on Daily English Talk.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.